We are back! This week I've been having a lovely old time putting the finishing touches to the new back garden shed. I needed to build a new computer desk and I couldn't help but take a few bits of inspiration from the wonderful world of skateboarding. I was on the lookout for a new desk for my computer and music production equipment. However, nothing out there caught my eye, so I figured it would be cheapest and easiest to build something myself. Whilst I was at my local skate park, I saw a feature that got my mind whirring. Oh my gosh! Could incorporate some skate pool tiles and pool coping, and that could make the front of the desk. This would be a little homage to my love of skateboarding, and this could power me through those more demanding projects, keep my pecker up, maybe do a little handboard front Smith grind in my lunch hour. I set about coming up with a basic design. I already knew that round top concrete path edging worked well as makeshift pool coping. I used it on my backyard mini ramp, and from an aesthetic point of view, it looks really good, especially when you lacquer it up. It's also very cheap at £4 a piece. I would need 3 pieces to create my coping right across the desk. The mosaic tiles were nice and easy to find at my local DIY shop. They come in 30cm squares and I figured I could cut these up to suit. With regards to the structural aspect of the desk, I decided to keep it simple by building a frame that was the same size as the end of the back garden shed. When I built the shed, I backed all of the plasterboard with OSB board, and that meant I could screw in willy-nilly and not have to use any of those dreaded plasterboard fixings. It also meant that the desk would be really sturdy when I fixed it into all of the walls. You could of course use this idea to build your own freestanding desk. Once I had my frame in place, I used a level to make sure it was all level, and then I came up with a system for attaching the pool coping. I built a little lip on the front of the desk to accept the pool coping, and this was at just the right depth so that the top of the desk would be flush when the two fitted together. For the desktop, I found a bit of 18mm furniture board. This had a grey oak effect, and I figured this would look enough like concrete to fit in with the overall design idea. To adhere the pool coping to the wood, I just used some No More Nails style Gorilla Glue. This worked a treat, and it was time to lacquer up that coping. I find this process really exciting. I love the way that the concrete comes through the lacquer, and I love getting that nice finish. I sprayed the coping with about 4 or 5 layers of clear acrylic lacquer, which is the same stuff that I used when I used to lacquer my pool coping on the mini ramp. Now that the desk structure was in place, it was time to think about sticking on the tiles. Now, I've never done tiling before, but luckily my mate Greg Robson at Shore Tiling was on hand with a few handy hints. The first one was to use a tile backing board, and this would allow the tile adhesive to work nicely. So I simply cut my tile backing board into the correct dimensions and then screwed it in using the washers. I also put a healthy dollop of the No More Nails stuff to stick it on. I attached a bit of plastic tile edging so that the tiles would have somewhere to sit and hopefully keep them remotely straight. And then it was time to break out the tile adhesive, pop that on, and then fix my tiles into place. I combed out my tile adhesive, pressed on my mosaic tiles, and I tried to get them all as even and as level as possible, and then left it overnight to dry. The final stage was to do some grouting. There's plenty of great tutorials about tiling out there by experts, so I'm not going to bore you with the nitty gritty, but I used a 45-degree angle, got all the grout in there, and then used a sponge to get the excess grout off. I found that I was using glass tiles. There was a bit of misting even if I left it to dry overnight, so I kept on wiping away and then polishing her up until I got the finish that I desired. To finish the desk, I anchored the furniture board top in place, and I also added a handy pull-out tray for my keyboard and mouse. Then it was finally time for the fun bit of placing my gear on the new desk. I took the liberty of building a little matching plinth so that my computer screens would be the right height. I also put in my acoustic sound treatment so that my audio monitors would sound their best, and Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, job's a good un. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with how my skate pool inspired computer desk turned out. It feels and looks great. It certainly raises a smile in those duller moments. Well, that's it for this video. I'll leave a list of the materials that I used below. If you're new to the channel, feel free to hit subscribe. I make new videos every week. You can also follow me on Instagram at John Bishop Skate. As ever, my name's been John Bishop and I'm a middle-aged guy learning how to do a bit of tiling.